little morning episode I wanted to get out. Obviously, like a lot to talk about with spring training yesterday, and I didn't really talk too much about spring training yesterday, actually at all, because yesterday's episode was all about the WBC, but I missed over one thing, some Juan Soto comments that I want to talk about, just because, like, every time Juan Soto speaks about, you know, his time with the Yankees, he opens up, like, a door for there to be, like, some internet sparring. Do want to start with this. My favorite international player from this last signing, obviously, like, it was Murakami, it was Amai, and it was Okamoto, and of the three early on projections, like, Okamoto was the one that was kind of labeled like the cheapest of the three, even though I always felt like he had the highest floor, which it feels good to kind of see it. Now, he hasn't really been hitting great for Japan so far in the WBC, and I mean, he's a Toronto Blue Jay, so shout out to them. But, like, the defense has been there, and that people were kind of worried, like, what kind of third base would he play? But he looks a lot more athletic than I think a lot of people realize. Like, this is a great play. Now, is it Manny Machado level? No, but it's fluid, it's explosive, it's athletic, it's, you know, it's a tricky play with someone who's really getting down the line. And he, I mean, like this tweet says from Damon, I really don't think Okamoto had this kind of bag at third base. I'm getting extremely giddy thinking about the possibilities in store for him. But, I mean, this has been big for him because he, again, like I said, I mean, I got double checked, but he has not been hitting up until this point in the WBC, and obviously it's hard, but, you know, like, really just a fantastic bag he's kind of put on display. That was a good play, and then this double play is just impressive. Just a solid third base profile. So I'm really excited for him, and obviously, like, the Blue Jays, you know, Bo Bichette gone, Okamoto in. So he's not going to give you the offense that Bo Bichette gave you, but he's likely will be a better third baseman than Bo Bichette will be a third baseman with the Mets. Now, he did win a Gold Glove over there in Japan, but obviously, like, smaller ball, like, things change. Like, you know, we've seen, like, people talk about kind of like skill athletes. Speaking of great plays,
Jose Caballero down the left field line. Watch Bradfield.
First of all, Cabby, good rip, clutch hit. Owen and Otto to get Bradley.
Run already midway between second and third. He's going to get the wave home. Throw cut off by Lopez into the plate. Oh, wow. My goodness! What a throw by Otto Lopez! And Bradfield is out at home!
Like, Owen getting it out quickly. Lopez with the cannon. And Bo Naylor, picture perfect. And honestly, like, in baseball, this is my favorite kind of play. Like, this to me is the most exciting play. These triples, obviously, like, inside the park home runs are really exciting, but usually it is like some, like, ball kicking around. But this was, like, just great baseball all the way around. I mean, we're talking about a speed demon, right? We're talking about someone who's very fast, flying around the bases, speed on speed, and kind of a play that you have to have.
Watch Bradfield run. Already midway between second and third. He's going to get the wave home. Throw cut off by Lopez into the plate. Oh!
Just ridiculous. Just, like, ridiculous. Oh, shoot. I wanted to find I thought I had another angle of it. Oops, didn't mean to do that. But again, just like a ridiculous throw that every time I watch it, I'm impressed with it. And I like Owen. Don't love Owen. I've been, like, kind of up and down on Owen a little bit, I think. But one of the more ridiculous plays that I've seen. Oh, dude, buy on Kyle Harrison. Buy on Kyle Harrison, man. So the Brewers obviously, like, made a deal. They sent Peralta away, but to the Mets. But Woodruff, Mizorowski, Patrick, Henderson, and Kyle Harrison, like, they're going to be fantastic. And obviously, like, I'm buying stock on as many lefties as I can. I really like Ryan Weathers. He got tattooed yesterday, but, like, Kyle Harrison, it feels like he's going to be ready. And, you know, him going to this Brewers pitching lab, I think is just going to be really, it just looks like it's really good for him. I mean, yesterday, final line, 3 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 8 Ks, 10 whiffs, topped out at 97 and an 18% changeup usage, which is, I think, is a pretty sizable tick up. 25% against righties, looking promising already. Calling it a win-win trade. He looks good, man. Looks really good. I'm excited for him. Obviously, I believe he came from Boston in the Durbin trade, which, you know, that means the Yankee was a part of it. So shout out that way. But 8 of his 9 outs via strikeout. The new changeup looks borderline untouchable. The slurve is sharp, and everything else seems to be trending up. This could end up looking like a great snag by the Brewers. Excellent stuff. I mean, like, if you're in a keeper league, go take him if he's available already. If you are in a fantasy baseball, he's someone to definitely keep an eye on. Maybe like look at a little bit later down. So like, absolutely. Shout out Kyle Harrison. Promising. This stuff is gonna play, dude. Great angle too. Generally speaking, I love this angle. Like when I try to go spring training, I love this angle. Little strut off. Yeah, do your thing, Kyle Harrison. Yeah, I think he's gonna have a big year, and I love seeing it.
When the outings start to get a little longer and you have more pitches to work with, how does that change what you're looking to accomplish in a game like this?
Yeah, definitely. Wanted to, obviously record an out in the fourth there. I was pissed I had that walk there. So, but yeah, like you said, it's more important to get out there and get those ups and stay in the game for a long amount of time, because that's ultimately what you want to do during the season. So good to just mix it up with all the pitches and, stay in the zone for the most part on most of them, and keep building on that one.
We always used to think about pitch count as the thing in spring training, and now we hear much more about ups. Mm-hmm. Which do you feel is more valuable in terms of building endurance?
I think ups for sure, especially like when you have a long outing. I know I had a longer second, so it was like getting back out there for the third and trying to get to the fourth was huge today, in terms of, moving the needle a little bit there. So, yeah, just looking, next time out to keep building on that, hopefully go a little longer. And, yeah, that's the goal here, man.
In terms of the stuff, what worked today? What were you most pleased with coming out of it?
Pleased with the heater, just staying in my legs, getting to my arm side. Especially, the slider took a step forward today. I thought was able to show it in the zone, get it more to my glove side. And then the changeup as well today, was able to get some stuff below the zone. Feel like I'm getting more of a feel of, the strike pitches I want, go and strike the ball. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man, just refining those and trying to get better.
That changeup we've talked to you a bunch about so far, do you feel like that pitch is there, or is it still, for you, a work in progress?
I'd say all pitchers are kind of a work in progress, right? Like that's how I'm going to be with him. I'm always going to try to be trying to want to make them better. And ideally today, I thought I could have put it in some better locations, or used it more, to get a strikeout here and there. So yeah, man, that's been the name of the game. But definitely getting confident in that pitch and throwing it with conviction. That's the biggest part. Selling it like a heater.
Have you had any word from coaches about the plan, about what the regular season will look like? Are you in the rotation? Do you know which game?
No, man. Just no, haven't been told anything. So just going to keep trying to attack my business day by day.
Easy kid to root for, man. Really easy kid to root for. Cam Smith note, 440.
His first time up.
440.
That is hit hard.
And
his first time
I
up.
love the swing.
2-1. That is hit high in the air, out to left field, and there is no doubt about this one. It is gone. Cam Smith cranks a fastball to left field and gives the Astros the 1-0 lead here in the fifth inning.
He got to a really hot start early on last year, and didn't carry the power that a lot of people thought. Didn't really lift the ball that much. Only had 9 home runs, but he's got big time power, big moonshot ability. Last year, physical tools: 85th percentile bat speed, 88th percentile arm strength, and 95th percentile sprint speed with a 114 max EV. I mean, he's a kid growing into a grown man body with huge upside, and like this has to be encouraging. I mean, this ball's absolutely crushed. The sound.
That is hit high in the air, out to left field, and there is no doubt about this one. It is gone.
And like righty pop is so important to have, so good to have. So obviously, like absolutely crushed that. Lewis Analysis does a great job kind of breaking those things down from one prospect to another. Dude, Leo DeVries, again, the mutant in his 11th spring training game went 4 for 2 with 2 home runs, including a grand slam, 6 RBI, and 2 runs scored. In the spring, he's hitting .385 with over 1,000 OPS, 2 home runs, both in this one game, 6 RBIs, and 10 hits and 26 at-bats. Look, they traded Mason Miller for him, and the Padres, have kind of shown the willingness to go be aggressive and get guys, and this is kind of what happens. I mean, this is like one of those teenagers that I think is going to be an absolute monster. And the A's continue to stack like a bunch of like really fantastic, quality young bats, and they're fun. Now, obviously, like Miller is likely going to be best closer in baseball, but is it like by default this year? Like Devin Williams kind of fell off a cliff a year ago. Clase decided he wanted to gamble away his career, and then Mason Miller. I don't know if all three are peak of power, who's the best, but I do love Mason Miller. I don't want to slander Mason Miller at all. I was actually excited. I was hoping that he was going to get his wish and maybe try as a starter at some point, and he helped me in my little trivia baseball game the other day. But you're looking at like this A's core, and they already have Nick Kurtz, and Rooker is locked up for a little while, and Jacob Wilson is bat the ball like perfect leadoff guy, and Leo Rice is kind of coming along. I mean Bangaliers and who else? I'm forgetting one. Oh no, who am I? Oh, Soderstrom. Like they have like dudes all over the place. Denzel, like this is just a really fantastic young core of bats, and this feels like a kid who's going to be, obviously like a top 10 talent amongst prospects. And when he gets up, like you got to feel excited about kind of his athletic traits, and B, starting to flash a little bit more power. And again, he's young and going to get there. But again, feeling like a young special core. And Nick Kurtz is already like, one of the top, like to me, one of the top 15 hitters in the sport, like in his first year at least. Like he was absolutely outrageous, big country. So you're looking at this, or big Amish, whatever they call them, I don't know. You're looking at this, and it's okay. Like they're stacking the young bats. They just need the pitching, and an A's team that I get really excited to watch. So just really, really top end stuff from the Rise this year. And then from one young cat to another young cat, Jesus Mate was the youngest player in the top 100 a year ago. As like a 17-year-old, and he's been fantastic again. And the Brewers continuing to like build up a really good farm system. He's hitting .320 this spring with a .370 on base percentage in 10 games played with 6 RBIs. Again, hitting. He's going to play third or short. People are saying move Terang. Bryce Terang deserves more respect. But you just feel like, again, the Brewers and their young, honestly, their hitting lab and pitching lab, they do just a fantastic job. So these teenagers, man, they're just doing the damn thing. And McGonigal, who, look, I love Connor Griffin. I think that given this spring, and I don't know if it's like a knee-jerk reaction, I think McGonigal is my number one prospect in the sport ahead of Connor Griffin. McGonigal's been amazing. He hits everything. Everything's a frozen rope. He doesn't swing and miss. The swing is so compact. He's lifting the ball, hitting the piss out of the ball, too, hitting it really hard. And for what it's worth, hardest pitchers he's faced, Thomas White, the lefty, tall, lanky lefty. Tends to be something that throws people off. But I love Kevin McGonigal. He's had a great spring, and you got to wonder. I mean, him and Max Clark. I know that a lot of people are out on Max Clark because of the chains. I'm not out on Max Clark. I like Max Clark a lot still. But whenever like a really like polished hitter, like he's already a professional hitter and he's hitting frozen ropes. Got to go see him play in Akron. He was awesome playing for the AA team. And Max Clark was too, had the big chains on then. I got to talk to him about, what did I say? I said, dog, like, I just made a joke about, like, retweeting Cole is King. Like, shout out, Cole is King instead of, Cutter. But I always take notice when a young kid who is coming to his own as a hitter, who just ropes everything, who he says is a tough matchup, Thomas White. So, Marlins got to feel like, the Marlins pitching lab, while it's not as famous, I think, as the Brewers, they do it generally a pretty good job. And I think this is the year of the funky lefties. But I'm just Chris Drew, so whatever that means. Mike Trout, man, former Captain America. So this started. Mike Trout had a sprint speed of 29.9 feet per second, trying to beat out a hit today. His last recorded speed faster than that was before he hurt his knee in April 2025. A lot of people have kind of acknowledged that we're seeing the fall off of, the fall off of Mike Trout because the body's kind of broken down a little bit. But here he is. He said, I'm going to get 30 for you guys. I've got more in the tank. And then today, he did it. Followed up on his word. Shout out Mike Trout. A healthy Mike Trout is good for the sport. The Angels have their own set of problems. I can't believe they had Trout, Pujols, and Ohtani, and I think made the playoffs a grand total of one time with those three. But obviously, we know how it goes. Things are weird. And honestly, and that baseball does a great job kind of breaking down the whole Angels mishap. But it's good to see. It's good to see Mike Trout and the speed be there. Because obviously at the peak of powers, he was the single best baseball player of this generation. I mean, if you look at in a perfect world, all things healthy, we're talking about if they're both healthy, there's probably a legit debate between him and Byron Buxton as like top center fielders. But obviously those guys got beat up a lot, and so we never really got to see Byron Buxton's prime and Mike Trout's prime match up, and they're both healthy. So, and I'm overly high on Byron Buxton. I do know that Trout is viewed as not viewed, is an all-time great actually. Oh, dude. Judge always has a boyfriend on his team. It's not real. They said the one thing about Aaron Judge telling Bryce Harper to get down here and move Breggy over a little bit from tall to short. He's so happy. They always joke about if there's one thing Aaron Judge is going to do, he's going to fall in love with the first baseman. I love this bromance, though. I think I've talked about it on 3 straight episodes. I love the Aaron Judge Bryce Harper. Did I say Young before? Bryce Harper bromance. It's chef's kiss feeds families.
Is there any chance you pitch again?
That's a tough question right now. I probably won't answer that one right now.
Tarek, thanks a lot. Congratulations. Adam, back to you. Is there any chance you pitch again?
That's a tough question right now. I probably won't answer that one right now.
Tarek, thanks a lot. Congratulations. Adam, back to you.
I need the people that read people to help me out with that one. Dude, I love this. I love Junior Caminero. Love Junior Caminero. Electric, excited, slugger. Loves playing, hometown. Loves playing for the country, dude. It's a very distinct celebration style. Yes! I don't know how you can watch this and not get super amped up, dude. This Lindom League thing was before he was a household name, too. It is funny that he's already at home and he's just now running third on this one. Doing his little dance, dude. I love Caminero. This team is so fun, dude. They're playing a bunch of sickos, a bunch of savages. And the DR, United States Collision Course, it's got to happen. It's got to happen, especially with the pride that these guys play with. Just generally speaking, lost that helmet. Bang, bang. Oof. Again, obviously having a lot of fun, and Juan Soto hit the walk-off mercy home run. And this clip is making it around, and it's okay, Mets fans don't like that Yankee fans are bringing up this clip and throwing it in the face of Mets fans. And they're saying that, okay, they're just going to play it.
There are wins, and then there are wins like this. Every single guy got on base. Just how potent is this offense?
It's great. What we can do, we've been passing the baton. We don't try to be the hero. I feel like we have a great lineup. Everybody can do damage, but, we play team baseball right now. I think that's what it got us where we at, and it's really fun to play with a team like that.
That's one of the things, is that a lot of the chatter was that there was too many superstars on this team. But I think you proved them all wrong today. How did you show that?
There's so many, like you say, so many superstars in this team, but we're playing like a friend, we're playing like a family, we're playing like a team, We're playing team baseball. Nobody wants to be the hero. Nobody wants to do more than he's supposed to do, and it's fun to play like that.
Okay, you've got the home run celebrations, you've got the jackets, you guys are dancing. When is the last time you had this much fun playing this game?
I've been in great teams. I've been in 2019, 2024. That was really fun teams that I play with, but this has got to be top of the top. You have the whole family, the whole Dominican Republic cheering for you, being right there for you, and I think it's nothing better than that.
Austin Wells got his cedula a couple days ago. Is he officially Dominican with that home run?
100%. We tried to teach him some dance move, but he's 100% Dominican now.
Congrats. Go get dried off.
All right, thank you.
So it's funny because like this tweet, when's the last time you had this much fun playing the game? 2020, 2019, 2024 was really fun teams that I played with, but this has to be the top of the top. And it was like, okay, like interesting. Now look, I think that when you cross over, right, when you move teams, and when you move teams to a perceived rival or a fan base that has more has tension with the other fan base, I think that people are always going to have rabbit ears when you make comments. Juan Soto is like, look, I had a great time with my last fling. It was just a fling, and I two another girl. And it's like, well, when's the last time you had this much fun? Oh, it's with that girl. And it's like, okay, with that girl, I got to do things like travel. And that's what happened. The two teams he brought up were the two most successful teams he'd played with. Now, there were some decent Padres teams, obviously, in the mix there, but all the reports were that, maybe didn't get along as well with Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis, but we're watching them now, and it seems like everybody's like all fine and dandy. Last year, the reporting that he was just so businesslike and didn't like the amount of fun that Lindor was having, maybe, like kind of that rhetoric being pushed out there, I always thought was so fascinating because Juan Soto, to me, always felt like a fun player who could be workmanlike at times. This environment is fun over everything, and it's a pressure cooker, and you're celebrating, obviously, with your countrymen. Him bringing up that 2024 Yankees team, I think, is him thinking he's being harmless. People are going to look into it no matter what. I do think that outside of 19 was probably the most fun he had on a team. It felt like he was the most himself other than in 19 and other than right now. So, I mean, that's a good point. And look, he's not supposed to say he had, like, here we go. If he would have said he had fun playing for last year's Mets, everyone in the Yankee side would have looked at him with three heads. What do you mean you had fun playing last year? You didn't make the playoffs. The team wasn't very good, even with the ridiculous payroll. In fact, the team had to end up getting blown up. So if you had fun playing last year, all the people you had fun playing with are now gone. So I think that, like, naturally, like, he got asked a question that he just answered honestly. Now, does that mean he regrets leaving? I don't know. Does that mean he gave the right answer? I mean, probably. I mean, it takes anybody with two eyes to see that he had more fun in 2024 than he did in 2025. I mean, when you win more, you have fun. Also, I liked the 2024 team a lot. I think he did too. Like, it was fun. Because winning is fun. So, the two World Series teams being the teams he mentioned still, to me, suggest that the most fun for Juan Soto is winning, not earning money. Now, money is obviously a part of it, and the reason he chose the Mets is likely because of money. But I am glad that even after he left the Yankees, he will not scorch the Yankees anymore. Now, there was the moment, the quote that he had, oh, it's always been a Mets town, Mets team, and he made his bed and had to lay in the first series and looked miserable when he played the Yankees. But since then, he's just kind of approached his time with the Yankees as a bright spot, a bright 1 year in my career. And I also approach kind of the way I talk about the Yankees with level of reverence because of Aaron Judge and them. So it's just funny because obviously, like, it was a 1 year rental, and it was a 1 year rental where that ran really hot and heavy, and now it's over. So he's a Met. He'll be a Met. I know Mets fans hated hearing this and are gonna fight back. It's not Yankees, fans' fault that he said this. Like, he definitely said this, and so we're gonna talk about it. But at the end of the day, like, he's a Met for a long time, and winning is fun. So that's my take on the Juan Soto thing. And I do want to get out of here, but I will be back probably tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get one of these out a day as we continue to kind of maneuver through the World Baseball Classic. And then, obviously, I'll have some more spring training notes for tomorrow. I'm Chris Drew. Make sure you like and sub. Appreciate all the support on the way. And I'll talk to you guys soon.